Creating and maintaining an organized home has so many benefits outside of the obvious. Today I'm going to be sharing my advice as to why I think you should have an organized home and 3 steps to get started along that process. Before we get into the steps though, huge thanks to CleanMyMac for sponsoring today's episode. Be sure to check the link in the description for more info and stick around towards the end and we'll talk about that a little bit more. One of the first and easiest things you can do is to have a proper place for the things that you own. This sounds easy and obvious, I know, but so few people actually follow through on this. They'll get their home or apartment, set up in the way that they want, and eventually over time, as they use it and learn how to use it, they'll find different dump spots throughout their apartment, or there'll be too much clutter in one area, or one area that doesn't get used. Finding those proper places for the things that get regularly used will make a huge difference into maintaining an organized and cleanly home. As a minimalist, I'm not a huge fan of, little knickknacks and decorations around my apartment just for the sake of decoration. I like things to serve multiple purposes. One, they can be useful and functional in my day-to-day life, but they can also look good when they're not in use. That way, I can leave them out, leave them in a proper place, and they're gonna look nice and add to the design and aesthetic of my apartment, but they're also gonna be functional and available when I need them. A prime example of this is my spare camera lenses that you see behind me here. That's generally where they will live. I think they are beautiful lenses and I like being able to have them out to look at them and appreciate the design and aesthetics of them, but they're also nice and easily accessible for when I'm shooting a video. And for items that might be a little more unsightly or that you might not want to leave out, get the closets and drawers and nooks and crannies throughout your home organized in a way where things are going to be easily accessible and will have a dedicated spot when they get back. When things have a proper place that makes sense, not just in a design sense, but in a functional sense, you're a lot more likely to put them back in the right place. We're probably all guilty of not following this next one when we were all home for so long last year, but it's important to maintain the cleanliness and tidiness and organization as you go. Setting aside a few minutes at the end of the day to clean up and put things back where you found them is going to be a lot less painful than letting it build up for weeks or months and then having to take multiple days out of your precious time off to re-clean and reorganize everything in your home. My office and studio here, for an example, gets completely trashed after some of my videos for YouTube or for client shoots. I have stuff thrown all over the place. By the end of my workday, I really try and go through and tidy up my workspace just so it makes it much more pleasant the next morning when I'm starting the next day, but it also just makes it a lot easier and a lot faster over time to keep it clean rather than let it get trashed and then have a big cleanup after an extended period of time. Another thing that's really helped me is to learn to appreciate or even sometimes enjoy that cleanup time at the end of each day. I'm generally someone that doesn't sit down and meditate on a regular basis, but I like to try and find meditation and kind of time to regroup my mind while I'm doing more mundane tasks and activities around my apartment. Whether that's cleaning up at the end of the day around my workspace or doing dishes or, sweeping the floor. You can kind of treat those things as free time for your brain. You're physically occupied, but your mind is generally free. You can take time to meditate, like I'd mentioned, or you can catch up on podcasts, listen to music, listen to audiobooks. There are a ton of options where you can really utilize that time, and it's going to take away a lot of those pain points for generally why people don't want to clean up on a more regular basis. So at the end of your day today, clean up the area you're using. If you just got done cooking a big meal in the kitchen, clean up the kitchen right away when you're done and just try and enjoy and appreciate and utilize that time while you're doing so. This next one is simple, just own less stuff. This was one of the big things, as obvious and simple as it sounds, that really drew me to minimalism, almost 10 years ago. More than 10 years ago, I think, at this point. Everything that you own has a cost. People generally think of the initial cost of purchasing an item, but they don't necessarily always think about the cost of ownership after the fact. This can include, monetary cost of maintenance, But generally what gets lost on a lot of people is just the cost of ownership, whether it be having to store the item within your home, maintain and clean that item when it's not in use. There's a lot of work that can go into owning stuff. I generally like to keep a simpler lifestyle, simpler items that serve multiple purposes, that look nice while they do it. And this just makes things a lot simpler and easier to maintain a clean and tidy home, which in turn helps reduce stress within my life and opens up my time more so to do other things that I would rather be doing. It's a nice positive circle feedback loop when you do that. So owning less stuff is going to take less time to maintain, therefore giving you more time to do whatever you'd like to do with your life. All of that being said, I'm very much a person that enjoys trying new items in my life, things that might work better than something else I own, or maybe I just want to try something different, or I like the look of something new, or some new product does something that the current product I have in its place doesn't do. I generally like to test and try a lot of things, especially with the YouTube channel. A big thing that helps offset some of the mess and clutter with doing that is buying and selling things. The resale market on a lot of items is pretty strong. You have websites, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, OfferUp, eBay. There are tons of options to get rid of your clutter and make some extra cash if you might need it too. When my wife and I moved out to Portland in 2016, we really ditched so much of our stuff. We were downsizing our apartment almost by half. So we had to get rid of a lot of stuff to be able to fit into our apartment. I probably made about $1,500 selling stuff that we weren't really using just from scouring around our apartment and getting rid of the unnecessary things that weren't serving us anymore. That $1,500 helped fund the move to get us out here, to build up our careers that we're currently in right now. So that was a huge help in getting us further along our long-term goals. Don't be afraid to part with those items that might not be a good fit within your life anymore, even if they're perfectly good, even if you do still like the idea of them. If you don't use them, just get rid of them. Don't throw them in a landfill, but you can sell them to someone else that might need them a little bit more than you, and that helps keep that cycle going of those quality products. Before we continue, I want to give a huge thanks to CleanMyMac X for sponsoring today's video. CleanMyMac X is a piece of software that helps eliminate a lot of the clutter in your digital workspace. I'm someone that does like to keep a nice, clean, clutter-free home, but my digital workspace can sometimes get out of hand. I'm a solo entrepreneur running multiple businesses, so things get a little haywire, timelines get tight, and sometimes I don't clean up after myself digitally as much as I should. CleanMyMac scans your hard drives and deletes all of those unnecessary caches and files that you don't need. I went through myself and found about 25 gigabytes through this first run through. They also scan and check for potentially dangerous files like malware and viruses, and they can help speed up your computer, more similar to that great feeling the day you get a new computer and it runs fast and it runs perfect. This is going to help you get a little bit closer to that original state. They have a free download available where you can run the program completely free and see how much junk that you need to remove. And if you want to, you can download the pro version for $34.95, and that's going to unlock all of the features of the program. I've been really happy since I've tested this version. I've actually used it in years past, well before they reached out, and have always been happy and satisfied with it. So be sure to check out the links in the description below if you have some clutter on your Mac that you want to get rid of easily. Huge thanks to CleanMyMac X for sponsoring today's video. That is going to wrap it up for today's tips though. This is the perfect video to get a good discussion going in the comments. I'd love to hear what tips you use to stay organized. If you have any advice for me or anyone else watching, I would greatly appreciate you leaving that down below. Thanks so much for watching this week though, and I will talk to you in the next one.